Hey everybody, how's it going? It's almost Thursday. It's almost Thursday, November 3rd, 2022. We're about 23 minutes away from that. I figured I'd start the video now because I want to get this done, and I'm happy. I want to get this video out about tomorrow's picks being Thursday, the day after's picks. I like to do these videos every day because even though it's not perfect yet and we need to update things for tomorrow to get it final, which you can always check out in the Google sheet, which I'm not showing in this video, but NFL, NBA, NHL, those are things we're going to talk about today. We're going to start with NFL. But I can get this video out. And today, being Wednesday, I picked up, I think, 17 subscribers today. That's the most subscribers I have ever picked up in one day by a magnitude of three, I think. I can see that it's kind of, I knew this would happen eventually and that people would get wind of this. It really is a sports bettors support system, a sports fan support system too, if you want to know the predictions of games. All these algorithms, even if they don't win every day, they provide so much. So getting the video out beforehand allows you to see the projections for the next day, at least somewhat, and it gets more views and more subscribers, and I'll eventually get monetized. And then you'll see me putting out videos all the time when they're monetized, because why not, right? Every time you put a video out, you can accrue some ad revenue. So let's talk about stuff today. We're going to start with football. Then we're going to go to hockey. Actually, we'll start with football, talk about the Thursday night game. We'll do our own little kind of have fun with football for Thursday here. And then we'll talk about hockey, and then we'll talk about basketball because the two basketball games are still going that are kind of big tonight in the projections. So we'll wait till the end of the video and see how far they get into those games. So Thursday, football. So we have one game. I updated the NFL algorithm with all of the roster adjustments and tried to get everybody on the right team and free agents priced appropriately in different spots so that the point projections can be as good as possible. But we are going to pay attention to win score percentage more if you've seen the previous NFL video. It's funny. Somebody said, I need to pick up security because I'm calling out the NFL on rigging games. Oh, wait till you see this video. So I'm not worried about my safety, by the way. But what we'll talk about is, well, what's going to happen on Thursday night tonight, right? You've got the Eagles and you've got the Texans. According to win score, Eagles, an undefeated team, the only undefeated team, I believe, remaining in the NFL. I'm sure we could check that here in the file, but I'm pretty sure that's true. Everyone expects them probably to run over a team like Houston, right? Well, makes it unbettable. The line is minus 750. And on top of that, I think that let's assume that the NFL tries to put on a production with their games as well as allowing the players to play. Let's make an assumption that maybe it's not full on rigged, but that the NFL wants to do what they can to keep us in tune, to keep us watching those commercials in between games, to keep us into the game, and that there are forces that make the NFL want to make it interesting. Let's assume that that is part of the methodology involved with choreographing an NFL game, because we're going to have fun with Thursday night's game here. So, well, if I were producing an NFL game in this situation, first of all, the projected score actually kind of makes a little bit of sense. This 23-17 is kind of funny because the spread is 13.5, and your impulse of saying, oh, the Eagles should win this, the Eagles are playing well, the Eagles are going to want to maintain their undefeated season, all of those things. Houston, not a great team, really shouldn't upset it. Even though Houston's at home, Philly really probably is going to win this game because they're going to want to maintain that undefeated status, because everybody wants to watch a team that may be undefeated throughout the season. So the NFL would want that. So let's assume that the NFL wants the Eagles to win, but also wants this to be a game. So for some reason, we get a 23-17 score. I don't know why, but I looked through the player stats. It didn't make any sense. I thought the Eagles would crush them. I guess maybe, I don't know why. But let's assume that Houston stays in this game more so because that's the way NFL would want this game. That means you take Houston plus 13.5 or plus 14. I don't know why the mouse is all screwed up, but it says that's what you would take. Well, nobody wants to, because you expect the Eagles to crush this game. So I'd say obviously no bet game, because I don't feel like betting NFL right now anyway. But that's probably the way that you would do it, is you'd actually have the Houston get off to a little bit of lead. The Eagles come back. The Eagles end up winning by about a touchdown. All right, so let's see if that happens. I have no idea what to tell you other than taking the Eagles minus 13.5 sounds like a really frustrating and annoying bet that you're probably going to lose and maybe even never have a chance at winning somehow. That's the way I look at that. So that's football. Let's go to hockey. Hockey had 2 games on Wednesday. And in that hockey situation, it actually went pretty well. Buffalo came from behind. If you watch my video about wagers and stuff today, which I don't have that file up, even though it's about even or maybe winning some money, depending on the last basketball game, I think. The Buffalo comes back to win this game. They were down 3-0, I think. Came back to win this game 6-3. Wow, right? They hit the over, they win the game. Wow. Good algorithm. I bet Philadelphia plus 1.5. The algorithm said take Toronto. Toronto won by more than the algorithm really predicted, and they covered. John Tavares made a nice play, really deking a defenseman, and they got kind of an extra goal on a nice play like that. And I think that kind of put them ahead. Hockey's about bounces too. You got to remember that. So, and Toronto actually scored more goals this game than I think any other game this season. They had not scored more than 4 all season, I believe. And I heard a stat during the game that they'd only scored above 3 twice, I believe, or 3 or above twice. Very low scoring this year compared to the histories of Toronto. That's what the announcer was mentioning. I agreed with that. So Toronto breaks out a little bit today. Good for them. Whatever. They do win. Tomorrow, huge schedule. Huge schedule. I mean, lots of games. Crazy, right? This is 13 games. Oh my gosh, right? Tons of games. Now, I want to talk a little bit about goaltenders in this file because they matter, and it's very difficult to estimate goaltenders quickly in this file. So what I've done here is I have a little formula. It's kind of funny. The formula just picks off the first goalie it sees on the list for the team here. And I sorted all the goalies alphabetically. So what you get is you get a look here with a certain set of goalies. And it tells you, it says like number 1 pick of the day for Thursday is Vegas over Ottawa, right? With Aiden Hill going over Forsberg, but that might not be the matchup. You can go to the goalie stat sheet and resort everybody, Z to A, and then refresh. I believe all the goalies are going to change. Yep, you get the other goaltender for everybody else. I think this is actually more accurate based on what I saw too, because on Boston, I think Swayman was hurt, and it might be Ullmark again. So then Boston becomes the number 1 pick over the Rangers if Halak goes, but it might be Shesterkin. So you really got to wait till goaltenders tomorrow. And I'm hesitant to go through every game without knowing what the goaltenders are. It's one of the advantages of subscribing to the Google Sheet or purchasing a copy, that you get accurate stuff with this. So just glancing really fast. Boston up here, then actually just go down the list at what these goalies are real quick. I always say real quick. Yeah, Vegas probably beats Ottawa. Carolina, Tampa Bay, close game. Washington, Detroit could be a close game if Husso goes. I saw this matchup in the preseason with my son at the Caps at the Verizon Center or whatever it's called, Capital One Arena, whatever it is. We used to call it the potato chip when I grew up, but it was in Landover, Maryland, even though it is the nation's capital of Chinatown right now. Close game. Boston probably beats the Rangers, but Shesterkin might go. It could be different. Islanders over St. Louis, but that would be with Grice. Yeah, we can't even go over this without goalies. It's not important. Let's go over to NBA then. But understand that huge day for hockey tomorrow. So will I do a video before the games happen? I don't know. Probably not. I'm actually going to be, my son's got hockey tomorrow, so I might be at the rink. Sometimes I'll shoot around at the rink and get on the ice. You never know. People don't always show up there. So there might be a video actually about hockey tomorrow on the ice. As for NBA, I'm going to check some games on NBA, and then we'll talk about tomorrow also. So, so right now, Memphis is up by 10, and the Lakers are up by 12 at halftime. Memphis being up in the third quarter with 3 minutes left, so it's still third quarter. So that's here. Memphis is beating Portland, and the Pelicans are losing to the Lakers at halftime. So right now, these two teams are losing. And I really want to talk about something with NBA that's important. So I've done 2 videos about today's NBA, sort of. And then I updated the health numbers. What is wrong with the mouse? The mouse is doing weird stuff. Can't get it to line up properly. So the health numbers changed when I updated the injury report tonight. And it made a whole lot more sense about what happened, because the Sixers showed up as more injured when the injury report got updated. The Bulls got a little healthier. The Knicks got healthier, but still lost. San Antonio really hurting. Like all these things changed slightly, and it actually looks a little bit more reasonable because you're like, wait a minute, the Sixers were hurting a lot more. That's why the Wizards actually won. That would affect this game. The Hornets were more injured than the Bulls really after updating injuries, and they lost. Knicks, I still had the illness. If you watch me talk about illness being one of the injury factors, but anyway, it starts to make some sense. And anytime you can really start to pick off things where people being injured at the last minute come into play, boy, it really makes you want to wait till the injury report is ready and the game is starting to make your wager. So it's really something to consider. Also, Pelicans, look at Pelicans and Trailblazers at 83% and 100% with the Lakers and Grizzlies. Another reason that they're not as strong as they were before when we talked about this. So really interesting to track that. As for the day, the Bucks win and cover. Cleveland wins a close one in overtime, but actually gets there. That's a really strong win for the algorithm to have them up here. If the Pelicans are supposed to come back, but they're a little injured, this will be really interesting because they're also way up here. And the Trailblazers, everybody's up here, and this injury on the Sixers makes this 10% not a big 10%. I understand why they lost this game. So same thing goes for Charlotte as well. And then down here, you get wins. The Raptors absolutely run over the Spurs because they were super injured. 3 of their big guys were out. Rockets do not cover against the Clippers, so the Clippers did better there. I made a bad bet there. But then Mavericks Jazz game, perfect. I mean, didn't say that the Mavericks would cover, and they don't cover, but they win. So it's not that bad, but not obviously not a perfect day with some weird losses in the middle, but you got to pay attention to injury numbers. It really gives you an advantage if you have current injury numbers. So let's talk about tomorrow as we root on the Pelicans and Trailblazers, especially the Pelicans. Well, both of them. You know, we want both of them to win. Let's talk about tomorrow because there are a couple games, only 2 though. Right here, it's Golden State and the Magic, and in this situation, the Golden State game's only at a 7% margin. They're minus 330. So there's just not a lot of action on Thursday for NBA. And this is saying do not take Warriors minus 330. It says they don't even cover. Let's say take the Magic plus 7.5, but we'll wait for injuries to update tomorrow because that will matter. Other game has the Thunder as an underdog, a plus 205, but it's really saying take them plus the 6 points because it's only a 1% margin. And right now they're at 100%, which means it probably won't change for tomorrow. Denver's at 91 and might go up, but the straight bet of 205 may work out on the straight bet list because that's a really nice paying straight bet, but also the plus 6. So you have to think about which one you want to do. So that is basically the updates for Thursday with, you know, caveats that you need to get accurate information, but I do want to get this video up beforehand. We'll just keep glancing down. I didn't really finish hockey. Seattle, Minnesota, close game. Montreal can beat Winnipeg at plus 175. LA should beat Chicago, but it probably won't be Mrazek going. New Jersey loses to Edmonton, a team that is streaking better. It is nice to look at the streaks of the teams. Like Boston playing excellent. Tampa Bay playing really good again. Vegas playing excellent. This is a fantastic matchup of New Jersey and Edmonton both playing really well. Look at how high New Jersey's strength is. There might be some value. I'm not a fan of New Jersey, but there might be some value in New Jersey plus 1.5, or I don't know. It's kind of interesting. They're only minus 135, maybe an under in this game. Maybe New Jersey slows Edmonton down. Stuart Skinner is an excellent goaltender for Edmonton. It has been playing, as you can see, he's at a 79% rating. He'll probably go. You know, I noticed Edmonton had been going originally. Like Stuart Skinner was not the original starter, but if you start to look and actually let's sort this by C-scores descending, that's the way to do this. Let's do that again. We're gonna go in here. I'll show you something really cool. So we're gonna just do C-score descending sort. It just never ends what you can do with this stuff. This is why I get too into all this stuff because I just can do this forever. Because you can keep making it better, large to small. So this will make your highest ranked goalies per team show up on top. Let's see what that does to the projections. Stuart Skinner is probably still going to be on here. He is. And the point of that is I wanted to show you that your Edmonton goaltenders Stuart Skinner, and then Jack Campbell's all the way down here at a 60. I think Jack Campbell was actually the starter originally. And well, what do you think happens when you start doing videos, you start showing these numbers, and you start out predicting things with these goalie ratings? All of a sudden, you get things like the Caps signing Charlie Lindgren, Philly Husso going to Detroit, and Stuart Skinner starting instead of Jack Campbell for Edmonton. And we'll see as this goes throughout the season. And we're just using save percentage. We're not doing something super complicated. I have to thank my buddy from college who gave me the idea about how to distribute this ratio properly to make an accurate C-score, because he's absolutely correct. It's heavily dependent on save percentage and goals against average. And that is exactly what we have broken it out as. We don't worry so much about raw wins and losses, and because in a weird way, they don't actually matter as much as how many percent of the saves, they're actually stopping. So in that sense, when you refresh it with the best goalies possible, this is an interesting way of doing the matchup. And you can also do it with the worst goalies possible if you resort it in the other direction on the goalie sheet and sort it the other way and get a completely flipped up projection of the games. It never ends, as I say. So it is a statistician's delight to go through here and check out everything. In this scenario, you have Dallas over Arizona, because Ingram's apparently playing better than Vejmelka, but Ottinger needs to go for Dallas for them to win. But he probably will, because he'll hold Arizona to fewer goals, and that's why they're minus 195. So we can go on forever, but we won't. All right, guys. Good luck, everybody. May all your picks be winning. Let's see if we have a game that is within a touchdown between Philadelphia and Hughes. That's what I predict will happen here, going the rigged way, because it doesn't make sense for Philadelphia to run away and win this thing 35-7 like you would think. It doesn't even say that either. So, but who's going to bet on Houston plus 13.5? Like, you're like, there shouldn't be the Eagles. And I do not think they will be the Eagles, because that's one thing the NFL won't want to do, is knock off the Eagles' undefeated season. That doesn't help anybody. But hey, me talking conspiracy theories. All right. So good luck, everyone. Enjoy your Thursday. If you do one thing, continue to root here on Wednesday for Portland and for New Orleans, who are right now, Portland is now down by 6, and New Orleans is down by 12 as they are just starting the third quarter. They're just starting the fourth quarter. So you'd expect New Orleans to come back, especially down 12. That's the one you'd really think, because the margin here is 22%. So live betting and following a game like this, I live bet them plus a bunch of points when they were down, because they're supposed to win. And so you try to trail what the algorithm thinks is going to be the long-term solution in the game, the long-term result. And when you get some value by having that team further down than they should be, you can get them to win at a great line, or you can get them plus a bunch of points in basketball in a long game where there's a lot of points. I think that's the way to do this, and we'll continue to track that stuff, and it should be fun. So good luck, everybody, on Thursday. I'll be out and about, and I'm just going to passively listen to the NFL game to see what I think will be a ridiculously close game for no reason. All right, so we'll see what happens. Good luck. May all your picks be winning.